Can you legally post pictures of people you've taken in public, for example, in a public food court of a shopping mall? This super interesting legal question was posted in the comments section of one of my videos, and I want to talk about it today. Hi, my name is Carr Ferrell. I'm a Silicon Valley intellectual property attorney. Welcome back to my channel. Frank H. writes, would I be violating the right to privacy by posting on Instagram a photo I took of a person inside of a food court in California? The person was walking towards me, among other things, and at no point did I capture anything that could be considered embarrassing. However, this person is positioned at the center of my photo, making him appear as the main subject. Well, thank you for this question. It's actually a pretty complicated question because, at least under California law and the law of many other states, it implicates several important legal principles. First of all, in the state of California, there is no reasonable expectation of privacy when you're in public. Public places obviously include places like the street and sidewalks, public parks, and the like. But it also includes places where the public is free to gather. Places like shopping malls, and in this case, food courts. Courts have consistently ruled that photographs can be taken of people in public so long as the images are not used in a manner that's intrusive or offensive. Taking and posting photographs in the United States is closely aligned with the right of free speech under the First Amendment. Now, there are three exceptions that come to mind that should be considered before posting your images. The first exception, where privacy would be expected, is under a theory we call intrusion upon seclusion. Intrusion upon seclusion means there are some public spaces where you do have an expectation of privacy. Public bathrooms, for example, or the changing room of a public pool. These are areas where you would expect to have privacy. Even in public, for example, there are circumstances in which a person might create seclusion and have an expectation of privacy. For example, someone steps out of a restaurant, not feeling so great. They look around, they see an alley, they bolt down the alley. Halfway down the alley, they go behind a dumpster and they lose their cookies. Well, in seeking out the alley and running behind the dumpster to be sick, there's a seclusion that's been created, and there's an expectation of privacy in that seclusion. And it would be improper and probably a violation of California law to intrude upon that secluded space for purposes of capturing a photograph. This intrusion upon seclusion doctrine, in California sometimes referred to as the paparazzi law, is codified under 1708 of the civil laws of California, and there are similar laws in other states which protect people in public from unreasonable intrusion into their private activities. A second exception to the broad right permitting photographers to take pictures of people in public and posting those images falls under the right of publicity. An example of this is I might be sitting at an outside table at a Taco Bell, chewing on a pencil and working on a video script, when someone walks up to me and takes a picture and then walks away. And I soon find that my photograph has been published in an advertisement by Walmart saying, Carr Ferrell, part-time intellectual property YouTube creator, wears reading glasses from Walmart. On sale now for $1.99 while supplies last. While it might be true that I do wear $1.99 reading glasses from Walmart, the fact that Walmart is advertising my endorsement of those reading glasses violates my right of publicity. That is, I have a right to decide whose products I support and whose products I don't. And in exchange for that endorsement, I also have a right to receive compensation. In California, that right of publicity is codified under Civil Code 3344. Many other states in the United States have a similar right to publicity. But it seems pretty clear that merely taking a photograph of someone walking through a public food court would not implicate this right of publicity unless the photograph was being used for a commercial purpose. Now, the final exception is a defamation exception, that you're using the photograph in a way that would defame someone or create a misleading image of someone. If the image that's being posted falsely misleads the public about the individual or the individual's activities, then this might also be an exception to the right that the photographer has of capturing and posting images of people in the food court. So Frank H., based on the facts you've provided, I think you're good on your food court photographs. Now, as far as Frank's pictures go, he's already got the photos, so it's just a question of whether he can post those legally or not. But it's important to note that not all public spaces on privately owned property will permit you to take pictures. For example, I was at a Warriors basketball game the other night at the beautiful Chase Center in San Francisco, and there was a sign on the door that said, "No cameras permitted with interchangeable lenses," something to that effect. It allowed you to obviously to bring in your phone cameras or your cell phone, smartphone cameras, but professional cameras were limited. And sometimes we see these limitations even in public spaces, but on private property, where the private property owners limit the kinds of photography that can take place on their property. For example, they may prohibit the use of professional cameras or prohibit the use of cameras with interchangeable lenses. Although these may seem like public spaces, that is, they're spaces where the public gathers. These are privately owned spaces, and the owners of the space can control the types of activities that occur in the space. And the exercise of free speech is one of those activities that's often limited. Okay, that's really all I have to say today about photography in public spaces. Frank H., thanks again for the question. If you have questions about photography or anything else related to intellectual property, put it in the comments section below. I'd love to read it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video.